Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Who the Hell Asked. My name is Slade, and we are here with Byron today.
Hey, everyone.
And today we're going to go over the absolutely, utterly fantastic year 2020 was in terms of video gaming.
Yeah, 2020 wasn't so great for other things, but in terms of games, it was an alright year. It was a good year.
Yeah, so we're going to go over a brief list of games that we've played this year and we personally enjoyed and our personal game of the year. But the main thing about this list that's a bit different is we're not going to go over just 2020 games. We're just going to be going over games that were new to us. So any game that we played during 2020 that we played for the first time, regardless of when it came out, are going to be games that we touch on.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Byron, why don't you go ahead and kick us off? What did you play in 2020?
Well, obviously, I think anybody has played this in 2020. This was like the breakout game of 2020. That would be Among Us. It's a game we experienced. I think most people have experienced for the very first time in 2020. And it was a 2018 game, but we all experienced it because obviously streamers were popping off playing it. And from the, I think 5 times, I haven't played it much, but from the 5 times that I've played it, and I know I've played it, I think a few times with you before, Slade.
Yeah.
It was a fun experience.
Yeah, Among Us is a game I've played pretty extensively. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos and whatnot on it.
Mhm.
Always a good time. One of those games that literally anybody can just plug it in and play.
Yeah,
It's a
because
absolutely fantastic game.
Yeah, because it's available on Steam on like everything now. It's like it's available on Xbox now. PlayStation. Actually, I don't know. Is it available? I don't think it's available on PlayStation right now.
I would say
Actually.
I thought it was just available on PC and Switch. I didn't know it was available on Xbox.
Well, yeah, because it's coming to like Game Pass soon.
Oh, eventually, but it's not out yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not out yet, but yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah, Among Us was a really good game. Byron, what else have you played?
Okay, this one's gonna be probably the weirdest fucking game that I have played this year. If you have ever heard of Fortune Street, the board game series from Square Enix, I played for the very first time in 2020 Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy and Itadaki Street. So I found this year an English translation. It was probably made, I think, like a year or 2 ago, but I ended up able to get that put on, and it is a PS2 game. And I was able to play it once with a couple of friends over Parsec, and it was an alright time, hoping to play a little more of that game to discover more about it. But if you've played Fortune Street on the Wii, this is basically nearly the same game, except obviously there's no Mario characters, there's Final Fantasy characters, there's a few more characters for both series, and obviously there's like Final Fantasy themed boards, there's a few more new Dragon Quest themed boards, so it's kind of a different game, and there's a few different modes. I haven't really gotten to play it much, obviously, but I would definitely like to try to play it more in 2021, but I did play it for the first time this year.
Say, I've never played Fortune Street, but I've seen some gameplay of it.
Yeah.
What board game would you compare Fortune Street most to?
Monopoly. Like
Monopoly?
Monopoly. That is like the easiest comparison.
So like are you just trying to like make more money and bankrupt the other players and whatnot? Is that how that goes?
Yeah, there are 2 ways to win a game you can change. You either have to have a certain target amount net worth, which you can change, I think, from like 10K to like 100K, or bankruptcy. Like if 1 player gets bankrupt, 2 players get bankrupt, or 3 players get bankrupt, the game ends. So you can change. Yeah, so you can change which way you win. But yeah,
that's interesting. It's not a last man standing kind of thing.
You can make it that, but it's not necessarily that.
I imagine those games would take incredibly long.
It depends on the target amount, obviously, and it depends on like how fast. It's kind of like Monopoly. Like it can be a really short game, or it can go on for fucking eons.
Right.
Yeah, it can go for like eons. What's a game that you've played in 2020 that I probably haven't fucking played?
Okay, one that you most likely have not played would be Yakuza 0. So, anybody who's familiar with the Yakuza series is kind of like a 3D beat 'em up, the right word I'm looking for, Byron. You walk around, you kind of brawl with like thugs and
Yeah, kinda.
Yakuza members and
Yeah,
people.
I've seen gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had never played the series before. I was told Yakuza 0 was a great place to start, probably because it was like a prequel.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I think it was a lot of fun. It was really cool that you had like the two different playable characters and they have different, combat styles, whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, I would wholly recommend the Yakuza series to anybody. One of my personal favorite things was the karaoke.
I saw a buddy of mine. I don't remember which Yakuza game it was, but in a Discord call, he was like go living it, and like I just died laughing at the karaoke.
There's
stuff.
a 9 out of 10 chance he was probably singing Bakumitai.
Probably.
That's the one everybody knows because it's a meme.
Yeah.
By the way, if you look up Dame Dane instead of Bakumitai, then you're uncultured. But yeah, anyways, Yakuza 0 is an absolutely fantastic game. I really enjoyed playing, and I can't wait to get into the rest series. I know Yakuza Like a Dragon was more of a turn-based RPG that came out this year that I wanted to give a shot, but I kind of wanted to go through most of the series first.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I would recommend the Yakuza series to literally anybody. So yeah, Byron, that's one game I've played this year that you most likely haven't. For any other games I don't think you've played, this is one that a lot of people played, but I don't think Byron has, is Genshin Impact.
I have
That's
not. I have not.
MMO kind of game, not really MMO. It's kind of like anime Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And that is a game I thoroughly enjoyed a lot up until I ran out of content and materials and things to do.
Yeah.
But all in all, absolutely fantastic game. Even if you're a free-to-play player and you roll for like characters and whatnot, it's really enjoyable. I think they got the beginning of the game really down extremely well to a science, and then the mid part of the game.
Yeah.
It just late game kind of turns into like a grind fest of things you've already gotten, and
yeah.
to be fair, that's like 60 to 80 hours in, but that's just how it is with open world games once you exhaust all the content.
Yeah.
It just starts to feel stale afterwards. But as I said, honestly, fantastic game. It is a gacha game, so there's obviously some predatory monetary practices that you really have to like avoid, especially when it comes to like one, rolling for characters, and then two, the daily resin system.
Yeah.
But honestly speaking, the game's fantastic, and I'd recommend everybody play it. And try to think about, whether or not you want to spend your money on it. Because the thing is, like, I'm all for supporting free-to-play games and whatnot, but there's certain ways I like to do that, and I feel like rolling characters and the resin practices are predatory in nature and not the thing they want to support. But like the season pass that they have where you get the level up rewards and whatnot, I think that's good.
Yeah.
So those are a couple games I've played that I don't think Byron has played. Byron, have you played anything outside of the Itadaki Street that I have not played?
I actually played this was another new to me game, and you're probably gonna gush a little bit this one. On my streams, twitch.tv/the1_Byron, I played, I believe it was in October of this year. October into November. Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. It was a Mario platformer that I had never played. And it was a really fun Mario platformer that I touched for the very first time, and I've heard it's a amazing platformer, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot for the very first time. I did play the oh god, what the fuck was the name? Super Mario Advanced 3. I played the Game Boy version of the game, and it was pretty fucking good. Now, there were times where I was like getting salt-inducing, and like one of the bosses I overthought about, like, because it was the World 2 boss, and I was just like, all you gotta do, you gotta like hit him with eggs. And no, all you have to do is just fucking push the pot that the boss is in. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I figured that one would trip you up. So, fun fact, Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island was actually my first ever video game that I can at least remember anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fantastic game. I think it nailed down the collectathon thing going on in 2D platformers in general with all the stars you can find and the red coins.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite 2D platformers of all time. I really enjoy the egg mechanics.
Oh yeah, that was a fun mechanic, definitely.
And overall, I just think that like it has a wide window that rewards all levels of skill for playing the game. Obviously, it's like probably in terms of just finishing levels, it's baby's first platformer. Not to say that the game doesn't have its difficult moments.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the collectathon and whatnot, really rewarding egg play and whatnot.
Yeah.
It also feels incredibly rewarding for skilled players as well. And honestly speaking, outside of maybe getting hit and listening to Baby Mario just absolutely wail.
Oh god, yeah.
The game's absolutely fantastic, and I would recommend anybody who loves 2D platformers to play that game.
Yeah, in my playthrough, I did not go for 100%. I will go fucking insane trying to 100% that game eventually. But for my first playthrough, and I definitely did not want to go for 100% because I would lose my goddamn fucking mind. But yeah, that was definitely a fun game. I will definitely have to play it again at some point. Probably to 100% it. Probably to lose my goddamn mind. Yeah. I'll be out of my goddamn mind for like forever. Because some of the bosses, you have to like not get hit. And some of the bosses, I definitely got hit. And it's going to be fucking insane stuff.
Yeah, once you learn more about like the bosses, their patterns and whatnot, the game becomes much easier to avoid getting hit. And I think there's also the items that you can use.
Yeah.
To give yourself like additional stars and stuff like that really helps out.
Yeah.
And the good news is if you like die to a boss or whatever, I think it keeps all your flowers and red coins collected.
Which is fucking great. Good.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd be replaying through the entire level, and that would suck. I mean, don't get me wrong, playing through the game's amazing, so
yeah.
But nobody likes redoing things.
Oh, God, yeah. So what was another game, Slade, that you played that I probably didn't play this year?
Okay, that you didn't play? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure everyone listening right now already knows my genre of video games I like to get into, obviously JRPGs. Game I played that I'm pretty sure quite a few of us played this year, but I know Byron has it, is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Game I have definitely been looking forward to for the better part of a decade.
Yeah, you and everybody.
What's up?
You and everybody since like E3.
Yeah. And I just want to say I absolutely enjoyed it. I think they knocked it out of the park, did a fantastic job. At first, I was kind of wary of it because it's only the Midgar portion of the original game. And it kind of felt like they were cutting 2/3 of the game out. But the more I played it, the more I realized that wasn't much of a concern because of what they did with the game overall. Like adding all the side quests and content and whatnot. They added a lot more nuance to the story, and the story is not even the same as the original Final Fantasy VII game.
Yeah.
Which, whether or not, that's a problem for you or not, like, understandably so. But to me, I personally enjoy having a slightly, mostly different story overall. Because it means I don't know everything that's going to happen. And that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, that's one game I thoroughly enjoyed this year. I'm going to go ahead and hit with the second game, or particularly game series. I played the entirety of Neon Falcom's The Legend of Heroes series, with the exception of Trails of Cold Steel 4. I played literally all of them. I binged them all back to back.
Like, damn.
And I just want to say, anybody who has played the Trails series before, those games are absolutely fantastic turn-based RPGs. I would wholly recommend anyone who's a fan of RPGs to look into them and play them. Like, let's say you like Final Fantasy or you like the Tales of series or something. Absolutely, utterly fantastic series. I think it has the best world building in any RPG series I've ever played. And, oh no, I love these series, and I'm like a huge Omega fan of them.
Yeah, didn't you like get them all during like a Steam sale? Or
oh yeah, I think it was like, I want to say it was back in 2019 or something. And the only one that wasn't on sale for Steam was Trails of Cold Steel 3, which was a newer release at the time.
Yeah.
But I saw that it was popping up in my recommended feed. I was like, let me look up some gameplay of it. And then it looked like a turn-based RPG that I would enjoy, so I got into the series. I played them in release order, which is also the chronological order.
Yeah.
Which, that's somewhat of a debated topic on where to start, because the thing is, all the games are interconnected. And if you don't play the first few, then, like, there's references to them in the last, like, 4 games that you won't quite understand.
Yeah, you'll basically be like, oh, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and to me, it's like, why wouldn't you play it in chronological order?
Yeah.
Because not only that, the Neon Falcom series, The Legend of Heroes, is absolutely notorious for ending on cliffhangers.
Yeah.
So, like, there's really only 2 places, or I guess 3, I could see people viably starting at. That would be either Trails in the Sky, or Trails of Sky. I think it's Trails in the Sky. I always screw that up. That's the very first game that they released. I think that's the best starting point in the entire series. It's also an RPG that hasn't necessarily aged terribly well. It was released on the PSP in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So if you play the later games and then go back to it, you're not going to be as graded by how dated it is. Alternatively, you could also start with Trails of Cold Steel. I think that's another pretty good place to start because it's a new saga. And even though there are references to the Sky and the Azure and Zero games, you're not going to be completely lost because they're kind of just referenced in the background. It's just when you get to Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4, they really ramp up at how it's connected to Trails in the Sky. So at some point, you definitely want to go back and play the Sky games before you finish the Cold Steel Saga.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be some plot points that are going to fly over your head if you don't. And then lastly, and I would say this is probably you could start here, but I wouldn't recommend it because, one, it's not localized. You could get Trails to Azure or Trails of Zero. They're the middle arc between Trails in the Sky and Trails of Cold Steel. But like I said, those haven't been localized, so you're going to have to like look some things up online, then you have to get a translation and all that. Yeah. Which not the worst thing in the world, but those two games in particular wrap up some pretty major things going on in the Sky games.
Yeah.
So I hesitate to say anybody should start there, simply because I feel like those games are rewarded most by playing the Sky games first. So if I had to put my foot down one way or the other, I'd say start with the Sky games. Why wouldn't you go in chronological order? It just doesn't make any sense not to do so.
Yeah.
But all in all, fantastic game series. I would definitely recommend to any of them who love RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Byron, hit me with something else I haven't played.
Well, I don't know if you have played this before, but another game I started this year, another platformer that I started and finished this year, was Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy.
I have never played Jak and Daxter before. Interesting.
Never. Interesting. Yeah, so it was like a buddy of mine, like a high school buddy of mine who I still keep in touch with. This was like his jam back in the day, back during the PS2 era, when my jams back in the day were like Ape Escape 3 and like WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. Those were like my two main PS2 games for a while, and I missed out on like all the other like Sony platformers at that time, like Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Sly. So I decided that this year, I think I did this in like November and then parts of December, I wanted to play Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy, and I had a pretty good time with it. It's your standard classic, that era 3D platformer. Because this was like early in the PS2 era, so it was still borrowing like tropes from like the N64 era 3D platformers, issues and camera issues and all. but I still thoroughly enjoyed it. I believe I completed 79% of the game, and I wasn't trying to 100% it, so I did better than I thought I would, percentage wise. But I definitely enjoyed it. I had a great time streaming it, and it is a game I will certainly go back to and try to 100% at some point. I don't know if I will play the second game, because it 100% deviates away from what I liked about the series, because it's like more of like a GTA style kind of game. But I'll at least probably give it a try, like on my own time, to see if I would get into it. But
interesting.
Yeah, Jak and Daxter: Precursor Legacy.
That's quite a jump too, from like a traditional 3D platformer to like a GTA style game.
Yeah, well, that's the only way I could really describe it. Really, like, that's probably the best like game comparison like I can make. Cause like when Jak 2 was out, like was it? I think it was either GTA 3 or San Andreas were like the big game of the day. I forgot.
It might have been GTA 3 or Vice City, honestly.
Yeah, wait, didn't San...
San Andreas came towards the end of the PS2 lifespan.
Yeah. Yeah, probably was like GTA 3.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's quite a departure. Another game, and I'm gonna partially reference your Discord profile for this. Literally like a few days ago, I played Pokemon Pinball for the very first time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, as a pinball aficionado, and there's another pinball game I'll get into later on. But I enjoyed it. It was all right for a Game Boy pinball game. It's like it's whatever. It was fun. I enjoyed it for the 40 minutes that I played of it on my stream. It's fun. It's pinball, so it was all right.
Fair enough.
It was all right.
Fair enough.
What's another game that you've played?
Okay, so keeping with Neon Falcom for a series I've played, another game I've played is first time I touched the series as well. It's the Yeast series.
Mm-hmm.
I played Yeast 8. Honestly, I enjoyed the game, but I wouldn't say it's like some sort of like masterpiece or something.
Yeah.
Story wasn't like the best thing in the world, but it was a kind of 3D action explorer game. So it's kind of like gave me Monster Hunter vibes.
Yeah.
Where you kind of run around, you kill monsters, collect materials and whatnot. You have your bosses at the end of most of your areas. All in all, I think it was a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I would definitely be interested in trying out more. I know Yeast 9 is coming out, I think, this year.
Yeah, I'm pretty
So
sure
that's definitely something to look forward to.
this year.
But it's not a game that I would be like, if you're into RPGs and JRPGs for like story, then to me this game's a definite miss because the story isn't terribly interesting at all. But if you like games like Monster Hunter to an extent where like you're obsessed with the genre or something, then you're definitely going to want to give this game a shot. Because I definitely think exploring the island overall is like really good. I actually 100%ed it on my first playthrough.
Holy shit, you madman.
Yeah, it's not actually terribly hard to do as long as, number one, you do all the side quests given to you available immediately.
Ah, okay.
And then number two, you just look around and explore things. Like if you see somewhere new that you can go to that you couldn't go before, go there immediately. Don't waste any time. Like just do it.
Yeah. Huh. Alrighty. So another game.
It kind of hurts when, yeah, it kind of hurts the game that when you're trying to explore and whatnot, and most of the overworld movement items of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, I really liked Yisei. I would recommend anybody who's a fan of like the Monster Hunter genre or something, or maybe JRPGs as long as you're not into them for story to play it. Yeah. But otherwise, if you're all about story, then I would go ahead and pass on it. Byron, what's something that you've played?
Well, I'm actually going to. Okay, so let's get a little weird here. Capcom plus Sony, a pinball game. Yeah, that's right. I'm going back to pinball again. So a parent from a buddy of mine, a man by the name of Thinker, he told me about Flipnik Ultimate Pinball. It's this weird pinball game that was made by both Capcom and Sony. As weird of a sentence as that is, Capcom and Sony making a pinball game. That's like, those are two developers, two companies you would not think would make a pinball game. But
yeah, that's definitely an interesting crossover for a pinball game for sure.
And it's called Flipnik Ultimate Pinball, and it was an alright pinball game. And it's got like these multi-leveled like pinball tables. Like you'll have to go out of your way to see gameplay because it's one of those games that's like it's hard to describe unless you've seen it. But
right.
But I had an alright time with it. I'll probably play it a little bit more in 2021. But it was certainly a unique experience to play for the first time this year. Anything else that you played this year, Slade?
Okay, so a few more games. We're getting towards the end of my list. Another game that I tried because once again, Neon Falcom had like a huge resurgence or not a huge resurgence. What's the word I'm looking for? First time I was introduced to Neon Falcom games in general, so I pretty much kind of bought a lot of their products.
Yeah.
Another game I played is Tokyo Xanadu.
What is
Tokyo Xanadu is kind of like if the Legend of Heroes series and the Yi series had a baby, and this game was simultaneously both. And that's something I tried for the first time. I didn't get very far. I'm going to go back to complete or finish playing it at some point. But it definitely felt like I was playing a Yeast game, but with the RPG story and elements of the Legend of Heroes series. I'm actually really interested in it. It's kind of like Yeast on training wheels, though. Kind of feels like the combat overall has less depth to it than the Yeast series.
Yeah.
But all in all, I find Tokyo Xanadu to be very interesting. I can't wait to play it. I won't go on too long about it. But like I said, it's another game that if you're a fan of JRPGs and whatnot, I would recommend.
Alrighty, so a game we both played. You didn't play this so much, but I am gonna say Fall Guys was.
Yeah.
I got introduced to this game at E3 last year, and I'm like, okay, this is very interesting. A 100-person platformer battle royale. I was never really into the battle royale genre because most of them were shooters. And
I thought it was 60-person.
Well, it was at first 100 people, but in development they changed it to 60 people. But it is a platformer battle royale. I was like, I'm in from day fucking one, and 3 seasons in, I'm still enjoying the gameplay. I still stream it every so often, mostly on Wednesdays. Again, twitch.tv/the1_Byron. But I know you played it with me for a little bit during season 1. And you
so I put over 40 hours into the game in season 1. I played it quite a bit. I like Fall Guys. I found it really enjoyable. I felt like it started to get a little stale after a while. Primarily because I had lots of crowns I was racking up, but nothing I wanted to spend them on.
Yeah.
And as much as I like, Portal and Team Fortress 2 and some of those other series, I wasn't terribly interested in getting those as skins.
Yeah.
So I just kind of didn't really enjoy the crown system overall. As I said, at one point, I had 50 crowns, and there was just absolutely nothing I wanted to buy with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I would have preferred a more traditional store instead of a rotating one, but that's neither here nor there. The gameplay is absolutely excellent. I love the ragdoll physics and the chaos that comes with Fall Guys.
Absolutely. And I know since you last played, I believe they've added at least 10 new regular games to the lineup, and there are 2 new finals.
Yeah.
That they added to the rotation.
I stopped playing in season 1.
Yeah. Yeah, you should at least hop back in for a little bit during season 3, and because some of those new games in season 2 and 3, ooh boy. Ooh boy, they are a riot.
And I saw they did a lot of interesting things to some of the levels as well, kind of like with mix and match, they added the spinning. What's that called? With the bars out? Is it a wheel?
Fuck the whirligig bar in Perfect Match.
Yeah,
awful.
You have to pay attention and jump now. I think that's a really good thing because that game was really boring otherwise.
Yeah, they did fix the problem where people could spawn next to the bar and get yeeted immediately. They fixed that. Thank God. Thank God, because
that seems like an oversight.
Yeah, because I had that happen to me a couple of times, and I'm like, what the fuck? But yeah, they fixed that now, and just it's been one of my more popular stream games, so I will keep playing it until obviously I stop enjoying it. But Fall Guys definitely, probably, if I had to give a game of the year for solely 2020 games, it'd go to Fall Guys. Because it was the 2020 game I put the most time into. I believe heading into 2021, I think I had 180 fucking hours into the game. So yeah, Fall Guys.
Byron's the Fall Guys fiend. You guys go watch it on his Twitch. He's 9 out of 10 times he's probably playing Fall Guys.
Yeah, yeah, definitely fiend. I'm a Fall Guys fiend. I've gotten way better, but yeah, Fall Guys has definitely been a fun thing to have to play. So I'm gonna bring up another game that I have played this year called Pac-Man Championship Edition 2. Now I like me some Pac-Man. I think everybody every so often likes Pac-Man. It's a very, very simple game. Think of the Pac-Man Championship Edition series as Pac-Man went to a rave. And it's a more high score based. There's not really levels. You're just trying to get the highest score or the most ghost eaten in a row at the same time.
Interesting.
Yeah. Or you either try to get the highest score or you get stuff done in the quickest amount of time or something like that. But in May, I believe it was in May or June, during the pandemic. Bandai Namco gave away Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 for free on Steam, like free to keep. And a few other companies did some other things like that I got into, like Pinball FX 3, a game I'm not going to mention too much because it wasn't new to me in 2020, but they gave away a few table packs for free. But I'm like, I saw Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 was free, and I'm like, all right, it's free. Like, I'm not going to say no to free, obviously.
Right.
But I enjoy it. I don't enjoy it as much as the original Pac-Man Championship Edition DX Plus, and subsequently Pac-Man Championship Edition. But it was still a fun time, still a fun game for me to play. So I'll play it like every so often and all that. But definitely cool that I got it for free. Thank you, Bandai Namco. So what's another game you played in 2020, Slade?
Okay, so I'll touch up on the last two games on my list. So, one game I played that I thoroughly enjoyed that came out, I think it came out this year, maybe it came out in 2019. I'm not terribly certain. It's Ukulele and the Impossible Lair.
I've been wanting to play that for a while.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that game because it kind of gave me like Donkey Kong Country vibes. Like, obviously, because the developers were people who developed Donkey Kong Country and the Banjo-Kazooie game.
Yeah, ex-Rare employees, and also it was a 2019 game. October.
I think they did a fantastic job with it. I really liked the gimmick of you could finish the game anytime you want to, but you have to be like really, really good at the game.
Yeah, like, oh man, that final level, you have like one hit, good luck. Good fucking luck.
It sucks that like for a while there you had to start a new file in order to get the unlockable from doing it right at the beginning.
Yeah,
but I think they patched in a workaround for that, so you didn't have to, which is nice.
Yeah, I heard.
I didn't do it solely because like I just didn't spend that much time playing the game overall. I pretty much kind of did a very casual playthrough and finished it.
Yeah.
But very, very great game. For anybody who loves Donkey Kong Country, I would wholly recommend you go and play this game. Give it a shot. And if you want to do the Impossible Lair on your first go without touching the rest of the game whatsoever, by all means, the challenge is there. I'd recommend you do at least kind of one basic casual playthrough first, and then make another save file, and then have at it. That way you learn the game and its mechanics and all that first.
Yeah.
But overall, I really enjoyed Ukulele and the Impossible Lair. I would wholly recommend anybody play it.
Mm-hmm.
The other game that I played for the very first time this year is a bit of an old one.
Okay.
It's an NES game.
Ooh.
But I played the SNES version of it. It's Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels.
Oh, boy.
So, I didn't play this solo. I played this with a friend of mine, Mr. Doom, for Mario Party TV.
Mm-hmm.
We basically took turns playing and whatnot. And I didn't realize that Nintendo had quite a penchant for cruel video game design.
Well, back in the day, they certainly fucking did.
Oh, yeah. But that game was a lot of fun. We finished World 8. We didn't actually do like World 9 and all the subsequent worlds afterwards, probably because we ran out of time.
Mm-hmm.
But that game is a lot of fun. I can't wait to play it some more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 2D Mario game. Can't really go wrong.
Yeah. Hey, you can't go wrong with like an old school 2D Mario game.
Oh, yeah. It was like Super Mario Maker levels before Super Mario Maker was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's way ahead of their time.
Yeah.
But anyways, Byron, what game did you wrap up your year with?
So I have a few more games I'm going to list off. I did play a game called Golf with Your Friends for the very first time this year. I had bought this, I think, a year ago, in 2019, actually, during the summer sale. But I ended up playing Golf with Your Friends on stream with a buddy of mine named Tiger, and trolling me as he always does. But it was a fun golf game. If you have a few friends, highly recommend picking it up. There's 12 regular like developer made courses, and of course because it's a Steam game, it's got custom courses from people. So you have basically like endless courses to play with your friends. And I think it's only like $9 or $10 on Steam. So highly recommend picking it up for a multiplayer game night. Another game you can pick up for a multiplayer game night is Unfortunate Spaceman. Now, this is a game that came out this year. It's free to play, but it's pretty good about being free to play. It's kind of not like Genshin Impact, which I know, Slade, you mentioned earlier. Like, it kind of does some free to play stuff a little iffy. But the Unfortunate Spaceman's pretty good with free to play. It's basically kind of like 3D Among Us. So, and
3D Among Us.
Yeah,
Interesting. I'm
yeah.
gonna give that a shot.
Yeah, it's kind of like 3D Among Us. Look up some gameplay. But I streamed it a couple of times with some friends, and we had a blast. So well, it's free, so you can pick it up for free.
Oh heck yeah!
Another multiplayer game that I didn't get to play this with friends yet, but if you've heard of Mario Party, Pummel Party is a great indie Mario Party game. And it actually does the one thing that I don't think Nintendo will ever do with the series of Mario Party, and that is online multiplayer. Now, unfortunately, I haven't tried it yet, but I imagine if it's like any other online game on Steam with friends, it's probably going to be pretty good. Nintendo, online Mario Party. Do it. Please.
Yeah, honestly, like, it's such a given that people want to play Mario Party online. Not just mini games, but boards.
Yeah,
as
like
well.
like something that I have been doing more this year was playing like Parsec, like Fortune Street and Mario Party with friends. And like, Nintendo, come on, please. Just give us online Mario Party. For the love of God. People, money. You are leaving money on the table. And the final game on my list, a single player game to end it off, Kirby's Adventure for the NES.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I played that for the very first time on my stream. And it was all right. It's a Kirby game.
Did you play that at NES online?
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's what I love about NSO is like you can play all the old Super Nintendo and NES games and whatnot online. A lot of them I've never played, so I got to play them all for the first time.
Yeah, and Kirby's Adventure, I beat the whole game in one stream. It was probably one of the longest streams I've ever had because I was so determined to beat it in one sitting because I thought it was so short. It's longer than you think it is. It's
probably the sole redeeming quality of Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, but that was a fun experience. I had played other Kirby games before, but I had never played Kirby's Adventure. I know there is a GBA remake of Kirby's Adventure called Kirby Return to Dreamland. I will definitely be playing that one at some point. Probably doing like a Let's Play maybe or something like that. But I definitely enjoyed Kirby's Adventure. It was a fun platformer. At times it wasn't chill, which is a little surprising for a Kirby game, but this was the NES. So even Kirby on NES was kind of hard. Well, and that was more so towards the end of the game. Yeah, that was more so like towards the end of the game. I streamed it in, I think my stream was like 6 hours long that I played of it. So yeah, Kirby's Adventure. I would say play it. You could probably beat it in a day just like I did. And so Slade, game of the year.
What was my game of the year?
Yeah,
so like we stated before, the game of the year is going to be among the games we have played and not the game of 2020 per se. So a game that came out in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
My personal game of the year that I enjoyed the most would be Trails in the Sky SC. Mm-hmm. To me, I think that's the best one of the Legend of Heroes games that I binged through, from Trails in the Sky all the way to Trails of Cold Steel 3.
Yeah.
I personally love it because the first game ended off on a cliffhanger because the first and the second game were meant to be one game, but due to release constraints and whatnot, they had to get the first game on the shelves. So they ended the first game on a cliffhanger, and that became a normal thing through the series because it did really well, right?
Yeah.
So Trails of Sky SC is really good because it kind of opens up the world from the first game.
Yeah.
It allows you to kind of just go at it.
Mm-hmm.
The story was absolutely among the best I've ever played in any JRPG, pretty much ever.
Yeah.
And all in all, it felt like the payoff for the first game kind of built up and finished itself in the second game really well. And I just think that it's one of the greatest JRPGs I've ever played. So Trails in the Sky SC is my personal game of the year. What's yours, Byron?
So it came down to me for 3 games: Fall Guys, Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy, and Super Mario World 2. All 3 games were great games. They were all games that I had the privilege of being able to stream this year. And as much as I like Jak and Daxter, and as much as I enjoyed Super Mario World 2, I am giving Fall Guys my personal game of the year. But I could have given it to any of those 3, honestly. Because I definitely had issues with all of them, but I enjoyed all of them. I just enjoyed Fall Guys just a little more, honestly.
Oh yeah, and I imagine with how much you go back to it and you still play it and whatnot, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and
you pick Fall Guys.
Yeah, and
what about Fall Guys kind of like brings it ahead of the pack for you?
I don't know. It's just fun. It's just like I've had fun. I've probably had more fun with Fall Guys than any other game in 2020, especially considering I also was able to play it with friends. And I did have fun with Jak and Daxter, and I did have fun with Super Mario World 2. But I just had a little more fun with Fall Guys.
And that's the most important thing for a game to be is fun.
Yeah.
So that is definitely something that I would agree with.
Yeah, especially...
You have the most fun playing a certain game, obviously that's the most important thing.
Yeah, especially in the godforsaken year that was 2020.
All right, so that's going to wrap things up for today overall. Yep. On our next episode, we're going to go over games that we plan to play this year that we're looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to what's up?
And predictions for what we think is going to happen in 2021. Because 2020 has certainly shown that anything can happen, so 2021 is going to be very interesting to have a look at.
By the way, thanks for watching our podcast, Who the Hell Asked, today.
Please,
this is Slade.
And Byron. Please like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel to catch up on more content, and comment below if you have anything to say. We will see you next time for episode number 5. Thank you, everybody, and good night.
Bye-bye.